Yeah.
And now it's
Everybody
normal to
working
y'all.
through
But now
stuff.
it's normal to y'all, which is weird to me, right? See, when we was saying it was normal, we was out here defending
How
abusers and
about
all that
that?
stuff
Just
like that. I'm
yeah.
not
No,
lying.
you're not. It's funny because it's true. But
You
like,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, but the
we was
reality is that
co-signing domestic violence.
which is what? Like, are you kidding me? This don't do that. Hey, my loves. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us again. We are back. We did take not time off, but we had some obligations that we had to tend to. So if you're new here, I'm Intisar, but you can call me Zar. This is my beautiful husband, Joseph.
Hey.
And we are back to talk Married at First Sight. But before we do, I wanted to give you guys a recap of where we've been over I guess it's been like almost like a week. I feel like of us doing like a whole bunch of stuff.
This weekend we were in Daytona, Florida, at the Daytona racetrack.
Yeah, the International
Doing a
Speedway.
festival. Yeah, the Daytona. I forgot the name.
It's okay.
The Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah.
For this music festival down there called Rockville.
Yes.
And yeah, we just got back from that, and that was pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome. It was really awesome. And from my perspective, I was more of a spectator, just getting to, see my husband, support my husband, and see him playing and everything like that. And if you know me, I try to support as much as I can. You know what I mean? And
I try to bring her everywhere that I go.
yes, he does. He does. So I try to oblige as much as we possibly can. And it was really, just from my perspective, it was really beautiful just to see. Like, I've been rocking with Joe for a very long time. I don't know if you guys know this, like, for a very long time. So I remember him playing in church and then bars, and you know what I mean? Then clubs, and then smaller venues, and then arenas, and it's just beautiful to see him rock out and just be a part of a dream manifested or personified. So
yeah, she the definition of shooting in the gym.
yeah, I've been shooting. I've been rocking with him since he's been in the gym. So it's been beautiful. It was beautiful. I wanted to put that out there. It was really, really fun. If you guys get an opportunity to go down there, Daytona Beach, and check out the speedway, it was, even for me, it was kind of like, it was a mind blowing experience.
Yeah, because I
not
didn't
so
realize
much.
how big it was.
Yes.
Like, the racetrack was massive. It's like 3 football fields.
It was really, really dope.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. All the acts were amazing. So it's festival season, y'all. So I hope you
Sure
guys are attending some fun things. And let's get into Married at First Sight. It's like I have so many thoughts about Married at First Sight, and then I have no thoughts. Even the idea, I'm gonna be honest, even the idea, before we even filmed this, Joe was kind of like doing a tug of war with me, because my spirit was just like, honestly, if I'm being honest, like, not into this. You know what I mean? And it's just in a large part, I'm tired. One part of that is that I'm just tired. I want to cook dinner for my husband. I want to have a good night. And the second part of it is a lot of things we had predicted throughout I guess, the course of the season has finally come to fruition.
Yeah.
And it's annoying to sometimes. You ever get proven right and you're annoyed by it?
No, not typically. I don't know that struggle. Because I'm normally elated to be proven right.
No, you know what I mean? Like, say you have a negative thought, and then somebody shows their ass, and you like, damn.
Yeah.
I knew this what you was gonna do, but I was hoping you would do the opposite. So I'm saying all that to say, let's jump into this reunion. So the reunion opens up. Who's the guy who hosts the reunion?
Kevin.
Still don't like his ass.
I think Kevin does a good job.
He does a good job. That does not mean I like him.
Okay, okay, yeah, I can get with that. He's not for everybody, so I can get for that.
His energy to me, and I'm speaking from a space of understanding how hard it is. I don't know how hard it is to be on TV and have your business spewed out there, right?
Mhm.
But I do know how hard it is to work through arguments, work through moments that are uncomfortable,
Mhm.
and then and have to resolve them, but not have to relive them.
Yeah.
And the way he can come off can sometimes it's giving worse than Wendy Williams to me sometimes. Like
I
I be ready to fight that
I can
motherfucker.
understand that, but I think the difference here between Kevin and Wendy Williams, just to go with the example,
Hmm, hmm.
is that Wendy Williams is calling the shots here. Kevin is really just the messenger.
That's a fact. So
You know
then
what I
she might
mean?
be worse
Yeah.
because she out there saying whatever the hell she
Yeah,
really want to
yeah.
say.
Like Kevin,
I think he
if
is
you
too.
notice, Kevin is sitting there with a deck of cards
That's
about as thick
true.
as a textbook, and those are put together by um a panel of production people and professional people and network people. I'm sure that there's like three different groups of individuals that pour over what he's going to ask in each different section. I'm sure they give him a little bit of input just to make him feel valued. But in stuff like this, he's just like a mouthpiece.
Literally, literally. So I'm saying all that to say he did really do a relatively good job. It just there were some moments that I felt were a little bit cringy.
Yeah.
So he goes around, he asks everybody, you know what I mean, about their experience and what they got out of it. And I really want to just highlight the ones that kind of stuck out to me. And that one of them being Lindsey. Now, Lindsey got a battery. Lindsey is on a mission, y'all, to ruin Mark's life.
For sure. And her energy was so crazy
It was
in
terrible.
the very beginning of
Terrible.
the episode that I automatically knew like they're for sure not together.
And it's so upsetting to see. First of all, she said, what did she say that really took me aback? She said, I didn't know this was going to be like 3 jobs. And it's
She
just
started out the gate taking shots at Mark, which is literally the meat and potatoes
of his issue with her.
of his issue. It's like
Period.
she started out right from. I mean, I don't even think.
Another example of somebody showing you wanting to feel a different way about somebody, and all they do is keep showing you
Yeah,
exactly who they are.
yeah. I don't even think we was 5 minutes into the episode before she said, "Well, you know what? The thing I took from it was I didn't expect to have to be. What did she say? I didn't have to take the lead on so many big, life decisions and monumental moments." And Mark was just like, "Here we
Whatever.
go again."
3 jobs. My biggest thing is this though. Since we're going to talk about Lindsey and Mark, let's dig in. I really, what is clear to me, and I'm going to keep bringing this up until the cows come home. When Lindsey's father sat up there and asked him, "Did you want to wrestle with alligators?" He already knew who that bitch was.
Yeah, he did, and I
He
think
knew.
I think it's a sign when
My father would
no
never say
one
nothing like that.
in someone's family messes with them. That just should be a red. Y'all want to talk
Your
about red
mama,
flags? That's a red flag
I
right there.
thrive better when I'm 3,000 miles away from my
And the
family
entire family, we all got family members
that we need to be away from.
but the whole shebang,
It
the
don't make
whole,
sense.
come on. It just kind of was telling that like if everybody's crazy, then you're the one that's insane type thing. And it's like, Lindsey, come on now. Everybody else is the problem. Your family, your mama, your dad. I mean, everybody is the problem. Mark is the
They
problem.
fixed Mark, man. And it's like at
Yeah.
first, I'm gonna be honest, I could see if Lindsey is her best self, showing up highly vibrating as her best self, without all the snarkiness, without all the extra stuff, how her and Mark could be great
I
together.
could too, because there was potential. I mean, like I said, Lindsay has redeeming qualities that I think everybody I think if you interviewed the cast, they would all agree. Like at certain times, but she has redeeming qualities, and you could see where the potential lies. But she was one of those things where like she failed everybody. She failed the cast. She failed Mark. She failed production.
But let's
she
talk
failed
about
the
redeeming
experts.
qualities, right? Because do I think Lindsey has good qualities? Yes. Do I think that she has the qualities that are necessary to redeem her of the nasty behavior that she has shown? No.
Yeah.
I think that, I think the more I've watched this and really kind of taking it in and even watch how she terrorized, and I'm using that word specifically, the way she terrorized that man, and he wasn't even giving her that energy.
Right.
Like a lot of y'all really be thinking y'all doing things in the under the gaze of like, oh, I'm telling the truth. I'm doing this when in all reality you're nasty and you're mean and you really are actively trying to hurt somebody who could have loved your trifling ass.
Yeah.
And you're more mad. I don't even know what she's mad about. Oh, well, I just think he used me to help update his grandmother's home. If he had you in his grandmother's home, he don't even seem like the type that is smart enough to use nobody.
But not only
And I
that,
mean that with all due respect.
not only that, you can tell. They say it's three sides to the story, right?
Yeah.
One side, the other side, and the truth in the middle somewhere. You can tell when you know people or when you are aware of what their kind of what their behavior and pattern is. You can tell who's telling the truth, which side is the truth, by putting the pieces of the puzzle together in
Yes.
conjunction with whatever their behavior pattern is, right?
Yes.
This Mark opened his mouth and literally said exactly what we've watched Lindsey do all season long. So there
And
was
he's been
there was no
consistent.
doubt, there was consistent, there was no doubt in my mind that what he said was true, and that was the story. When he said, well, yeah, I mean, she said, because he said, you telling one side of the story.
Yes.
And she
Yes.
said, well, yeah, he just is mean and da 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 da. And then all of a sudden he just showed up and didn't want to be with me anymore after we finished the house. And
He
he
said
said,
you don't
you
tell
was
the story
nasty.
properly.
He said you was nasty, you was attacking me and da da da. That was what we've known her to do.
But didn't
She's had
even
a race
reduce
to
her
the
to a
bottom.
liar.
Yeah.
Didn't
He said,
reduce her to an abuser. So that says a lot more about him and how he is clear about how words mean things and everything. Because he could have called that he could he could have called her a liar. You know what I mean? That she a liar or I think she hit him.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think she either hit
She
him.
said she attacked me. He said she was aggressive. He said all of that, which is what we've known her to be. When she gets upset, it's a race to the bottom. Even the experts said that.
But what did she say? I need a husband who has more intellect.
Oh, it was just more shots.
It just was
The
more
whole thing, every
shots.
time she spoke, it was like, this is my opportunity to take another
Let
shot
me
at
tell y'all
Mark.
something.
I need somebody who's taller and slimmer. Like, I mean, she could have just said, it was just, everything was like, I moved to San Francisco because I need to be around more
Period. And he
intelligent
looked the
people.
best he probably ever looked in his life.
He sure
40
did.
pounds light. He talk about 240 pounds light. He got rid of her ass and some weight.
Yeah, how about that?
Like,
How about that?
I'm like, I really, it was really good to see him. He was the best dressed on the reunion. Period. Okay, he looked stunning. I thought that his face looked really clear. I feel like he is in. I feel like as sad as it was, I think he's more affected by this. One
Oh, I
because of
think
the
so too.
trauma that he was exposed to. So I do think he was really affected by this. But I do think that
I
he's
do
going to be
think he
fine.
cared for her. It
I do.
reminded me of the Gil situation where, like, I could tell that, like, Gil is not the I wear my emotion on my sleeve guy,
Yeah.
but you can tell his energy was messed up. It was all over his face. You could tell, like, he was really fucked up by this.
And what it comes down to, even when Noy and Steve got on there and Steve said, I always knew from day one that your energy and my energy didn't vibe.
Mm-hmm.
That says something to me. Now, I don't
Yeah.
believe everybody vibes or whatever the case may be, but the fact that he could discern that and then told his wife, don't tell her nothing about us because she gonna run her mouth. And then that came to fruition as well.
Yeah.
And then she didn't want to take responsibility for that either.
Or she doesn't take responsibility for
I
anything,
mean,
so that was on part.
somebody needs to study this woman, and the fact that she was even chosen. I'm curious to see what the experts say in the second
Well,
situation
it's gonna be a whole
because
bunch of excuse making and backpedaling. We
all they do
all
is
know.
backpedal and pussy
They
cat.
come on there to rebut the couples,
They
like to
really do.
rebut the
Like it's your
actual
fault.
facts of what happened. Yeah.
Like it's your fault. Steve and Noy. Bored. So, my thing is this. I'm super excited to know that they're still together. They are on like a schedule where she still keeps her apartment, and he also has a place that they live in or whatever the case may be, and they usually stay at his place, and she keeps hers, which is cool. I don't see any problem with that, but it did get me to thinking, why? Like, is this an apartment or is this a condo?
So this is part of the show that I understand. It's not my preference, but when people on the show leave from filming, they do we've seen this in certain couples, and it looks differently for different couples, but we've seen them do this thing where they kind of take a step back to be in a little more of a courting mode, a little more
Yeah.
of, they kind of try to slow the clock down a little bit,
Yeah.
in order to give more of a progression of a relationship, which I get, because they did throw you into a marriage, into a complete stranger, and then
And then
into a,
didn't support you at
and
all.
then didn't really support you. And we
Yeah.
are not of that culture right over here. So I understand when they go, we want to stay together, but we want more time. We want to date each other. We want to get to know each other. We want to. So I don't have a problem if both people are, one, on board with it, and are two, feel served, right?
Yeah.
Like I only have an issue of if it's like, yeah, we stopped filming, and then she went back to her place, I went back to my place, and then we talk like once a week. You know what I mean?
I agree. Okay. I can see it that way. I can see it that way. And I see how that could be beneficial for them moving forward. It sounds like he talked to her about, not working, his investments and everything like that. And is he trying to tell us that he invested in Bitcoin early?
I guess so. That's
I
what that,
know a couple
because he
people.
couldn't say it. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, he said, "Oh, I had some coins." Well, it definitely wasn't Dogecoin. So you invested in some Bitcoin, and then you good on that side.
Why did that tickle me so much?
But you still got to be careful with that Bitcoin.
But I think, I mean, yes, but I do think that if so long as they're having a conversation about why he's not working or whatever the case may be, and he can still maintain his lifestyle, y'all live really basically separately. What the fuck do it matter?
Yeah, at this point,
You know what I mean? Like, it really doesn't matter. But the only thing, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, the only thing that I ever wanted in this situation between them was the conversation to happen.
I agree.
Like, to each his own. We talk about couples and love and relationships all day long, and my POV is never to have every relationship look like mine's.
Yeah.
Right?
Or just perfect.
Right. But it's not to have every relationship look like mine's. It's we're looking at whatever you're doing, or whatever the subject matter is, objectively, and trying to give the best opinion that we have, for it to work for the people involved, right? And for me, it was like, do your thing, if you don't want to work or whatever. But my whole thing for this whole season was, talk to your wife about that.
Yeah.
Like, explain to her why. Explain to her what your plans are. Explain to her what you got tucked away, or what you plan on doing. Like, I just didn't like that. It was just like, I don't get that she doesn't believe in me. Like, no, she doesn't believe in you. She just met you an hour ago.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with Noy, which it seems like they figured that out, where he said, now I understand what the apartment meant, and I understand, why we're taking it slow, and blah, blah, blah. Like, again, it's not my preference, but my main issue was, have a conversation about it. Talk to each other about it, and then do what y'all do. You know what I mean?
Exactly. 100%. So that's the only reason why, like, I didn't say I'm bored. I want to say that I'm excited for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My boredom comes out of sheer just happiness that they're figuring out how to communicate with one another. But let's talk about something controversial. Why was Sriracha there?
Strictly for Lifetime, doing the whole ratings
DE and
thing,
diversity, equity, and inclusion.
all of that. They want,
which is fine.
But for me, it wasn't even that. It was they leaned in to say, like, well, you were a fan favorite, so they brought you on again.
She was not a fan favorite. You're not going to get me to believe that. And I don't know.
That's what they said.
I don't know, but she was.
I didn't see that
literally
either.
on. She couldn't have been a fan favorite and was on once
for 5 minutes.
I
didn't see that either, because I try to pay attention to the Twitterverse and people talking what's trending and everything. Sriracha was never trending.
So what are y'all talking about?
Thing, you know what I mean? It just felt like, why are we doing this again?
And it felt forced, but not forced because of Sriracha's orientation. I want to be clear about that.
No,
forced because she had nothing to provide.
Yeah,
she didn't give us anything to feel like she was a fan favorite or a standout. To me, if I was talking about a fan favorite, it would easily be Michael's sister.
Yeah,
easily Michael's sister. She constantly gave good advice. But my thing is, if y'all was gonna bring Sriracha on, Any person, anybody's friend, Olajuwon's friend, the young man, they could have bought on. Michael, it's so many people that y'all could have chosen that I felt like gave a much better perspective into who the people that they were.
I think it was just for pure like shock value,
It was
like pure like,
annoying.
oh, let's have Sriracha come and be as
I wasn't
outrageous
feeling that.
as Sriracha can be, and then let's say we did it.
But also, imagine this being a show about people being married, and y'all bring on somebody who is not married
and
to
and
talk.
constantly refer to their commentary.
Like the fuck?
Kevin is asking Sriracha, so what do you think?
Excuse my language, y'all.
How do you feel about how they
Are you
communicate?
kidding? Are
What
you
do you think
kidding
about
me? Are you kidding
why we
me?
do not care?
Let me tell y'all something, and I mean this with all due respect. Y'all know I'm always gonna say something disrespectful before I say it. After I say it, with all due respect, it ain't a single bitch alive that can give me advice about my husband. Not one. I mean that with all due respect. And that's not because y'all are in a lesser place. I do not believe that. That's not because I'm saying that the effort that it takes to have companionship, you do not know unless you were married prior to. That's the only way, or you've had a long term relationship. That's the only way. Otherwise, you can't really offer me
You
the
wouldn't get
advice that you think that you can.
you. I
You
mean,
just
you
can't.
wouldn't get car advice from your plumber. That's all.
And
That's
that's
all we're
all
saying.
I'm saying.
That's
And
all we're
that's
saying. So we
literally
didn't need
all I
Sriracha
am
on
saying.
here.
It was just no reason. Then y'all keep talking about this man and his employment. Yeah, I didn't even like the scene that they chose. Well, but what do you want to do? Hold
Yeah,
up. If you get the like, and I'm not
and
even
that's
like
Steve.
I
That's
ain't like
Steve
that.
really
I didn't like that.
really displaying his patience. Cause I don't even like. But I think that was also like a little bit of a test shock value thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sriracha just super turned up in Steve's face. Like, for what?
Right.
Why?
Exactly.
Like, y'all having a
Exactly.
conversation and Steve is talking to you just like this. Well, da 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 da. And so, well, how does that make you? What does that mean? Then like,
Right.
why are we doing this? This is dumb, y'all. This is not VH1. And let's not go there. Like, we do not have to be loving hip hop.
We do not. Ooh, is that bad? Did I
No,
feel that way?
no, it's not.
All right, let's move on to. I really don't have nothing else to say about these people. Let's move on to Alyssa and Chris, which I really don't have much to say about them except for this. Alyssa ain't shit. She ain't never been shit, and I hope that people keep giving her the respect, the disrespect that she deserves. That woman got on there, and I'm gonna tell you why. I hope they keep giving her. Let me say it for the people in the back. I hope y'all keep giving her the disrespect she deserves, and this is a sheer sign of what white women do, how white women weaponize their piss poor behavior and make themselves the victim. It was so disgusting, abhorrent to watch this young white woman get up there and say she was having mental issues to justify her piss poor behavior. And then turned around and then wanted to tell us it was his fault,
Yeah.
even though she was having mental issues. Didn't once say, Chris, I'm sorry for my behavior. That was not okay. I really was going through some inner turmoil. Nothing like that.
The real failure in all of this for
Ooh,
me is that you had time and preparation to think all of this stuff through, and this is the best shit that you came up with.
it,
This mental health crutch
you want to
that
know
we could
why?
all see through.
Because they've been doing it. They've been doing it since they've been white, and I mean that with all due respect. I just watched something before we got on here. Shelly, shout out to my cousin Shelly. She had posted this, and it was basically a woman saying the reason why we do not pay y'all any mind is because you all have weaponized your white tears. So you have gotten to a place where you think that we supposed to show up and show out for you, all because you crying and having some emotional breakdown, and then you do not have to be responsible for your actions because you oh so hurt. You don't have to be responsible for being disrespectful because you're oh so oh I'm going through this. So no, it
It was
justifies
such a sad
absolutely
attempt.
nothing.
It was such a sad attempt
You're
to
a
play the victim.
terrible human
It
being.
was a terrible attempt to play the victim. and it was very evident to me that she had got some type of coaching about what she was going to say, and it was just it fell flat on his face. This whole like, well, I'm going to take the mental health approach and say that, and then if he says anything to combat that, it's going to look like, are you bashing a mental health patient? Like, no, you are just a terrible person, sis. That's all this is. You're a terrible person, and you can tell us until you're blue in the face how good of a person you are. Which why they keep bringing her on just so she could tell us that she's a good person is really laughable. Like, I just want them to stop bringing her on. We don't need to hear anything else from Alyssa. We just really don't, because she has nothing to say. She has nothing to offer, and we all know that everything she says is just an excuse. Some more fluff, some more lies, some more like her playing the victim.
That's what makes it terrible, because she is gaslighting a million viewers.
Right.
We watched you do these things. Yeah. She literally sat up there and lied as if they didn't have film.
Yeah.
To back it up. Oh, well, I didn't say I didn't want to talk to him. I just meant I don't want to talk to him. He's a low budget car salesman, calling him. You said all of these things, and I'm not saying you. And I really want to be clear, because I'm anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge proponent for mental health. I have things that I struggle with as well, but my thing is because I've done so much work, I've gotten to the point where I communicate. Especially Joe, know if I feel like I'm having a moment, I say I'm having a moment. Why? Because I know how rude and disrespectful I can show up or can be perceived as if I don't say I apologize.
But I just want to stop you, because I think you even explaining this is legitimizing her bullshit. Like, that's not. She's not. This was all bullshit. The whole thing was bullshit. She showed up. This was not a mental health issue. This was not her having a breakdown. Right. This is not her having, being paralyzed by anxiety. This was none of that. This was she showed up and didn't like what she saw, and she decided to act very childishly and very immature in the way she handled this whole situation. And she not only did she handle it immaturely, but she was nasty about it. She was nasty to somebody who wasn't even giving her that same energy. So I don't want to legitimize it by talking about people who really deal with mental health stuff. I don't want to do that, because she was full of shit, and we should leave it as you're full of shit, Alyssa, and we all saw it. And I'm proud of the rest of America, most of America, who saw it. And for the other half that wasn't giving her the same energy that y'all gave Chris from the other season before, and all of these other the fuck boys of Lifetime, y'all need to give her that same energy.
With all
and I didn't like and the main thing that I didn't like, my main issue with Lifetime and my main issue with Kevin and the experts and anybody else that sat in front of Alyssa, is they didn't give her the same energy that they gave her, that they gave Chris from the Chris and Paige situation. She didn't get that. I thought Pastor Kyle was gonna fight Chris
at all.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I understand that he's a man talking to another man, but Dr. Pepper or Dr. Viviana didn't bring it to Alyssa's neck like they should have. This was worse than anything that I've seen anybody else do. You know what I mean? So the idea that we just gonna sit in front of her and let her play victim and just talk real nice back to her and when we seen y'all be nastier for less. Dr. Pepper, Pastor Kyle, Dr. Viviana, Kevin, we've seen everybody be nastier for less. It just goes back to what you were saying. So I mean, but it ain't nothing.
I just think that she is a terrible human being. Girl, you would have to save every single last mammy, cat, and dog that was ever born on this earth since the origin for us to think that you a good person. I mean, every goddamn dog. Lassie, Clifford, the big red dog, motherfucking Cujo. You would have to save all them motherfuckers forever for us to be like, oh my gosh, you girl. We do not believe it. We're not picking up what you're putting down at all. And I think you're a terrible human being. And one of the most greatest moments for me was Chris giving her the business.
Oh yes,
at every turn. I would have left earlier.
I'm proud of Chris for doing that.
He was like, I don't care about the bullshit that you're spewing. You are a liar. Something is wrong with you. I wish you nothing but the best. God bless. Like, and that's the same energy I would have took. Like, you know what I mean? You're not a good person. You were mean. You were nasty. You said terrible things about me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And had I known you said them, I would have treated you with the disrespect you deserve.
Yeah, because he didn't. He like he said he didn't even see a lot of the stuff that she said.
But why I say don't give me started? She tears me up. All right, let's move on to somebody I'm tired of. You want to guess who?
Oh, Jasmine.
Why are we ending with Katina and Olajuwon? I didn't really want to, but since that's on a high note, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. I
I
told
got
you
the
so.
same.
I told you so. All of y'all. I just want all of y'all. I low key want to start naming names. I low key want to. Wakel. I'm sorry. I got it. I told you so. You know what I'm saying? We talked about this for weeks. We talked about it for weeks. We talked about how Jasmina was playing everybody, I mean, doing the Alyssa game to everybody for weeks. And kudos to some of you who saw it and saw through her bullshit as well. But a lot of y'all didn't. Lily, I'm talking about all the people on Twitter.
Not our Lily.
No. This is another Lily on Twitter. You know exactly who you are. I'm calling some of y'all out because y'all had a lot of big energy for me. Oh, they're gonna stay together, and you don't know what you're talking about. Oh yes, they gonna stay together, and they I see their potential, and blah 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 blah.
We saw the potential too. Jasmina did not.
Let me tell you something.
And that's really all that matters.
Jasmina is just as full of shit as Alyssa is.
I mean,
this whole thing was a setup. I told y'all this whole thing was a setup, and that's why I told y'all need to wait until the reunion, because they were filming right along into the decision day, and so she was gonna save face as long as she could for as much as she could. And the minute that she got from in front of the cameras, Michael is like, she was ghost.
So let's back up. Let's backpedal pussy pop, because I really want to just dive into some things that she said. So first she said that they did not talk for a month because she described an argument that she had with not even an argument that she had with Michael as aggressive. She described Michael as aggressive. So those are two different things.
I don't know if you heard bullshit. This is just but take out mental illness and input. Oh, he's been aggressive.
But I want to unpack that. How do you feel about the term? So Michael's issue was that the term aggressive, his feeling was for you to align me with that term, knowing how black men are seen, was insensitive.
But especially when you know that
and inaccurate.
But especially when you know that it's a camera moment and it's bullshit and you didn't do anything. He was at 1,000% right to completely fall back and be like, if that's what you're going to do, I need to protect myself. If that's what you're going to, if you're going to cry wolf on me, and knowing that I didn't go anywhere, we've seen Michael demeanor. Michael is, no one ever got Michael confused with Olajuwon.
Nobody ever got Michael confused with Hurricane K.
No one, right?
She came off one way and then turned into a whole different.
Right. So we've seen it play out in.
But I don't even think Olajuwon is aggressive.
No, he's not. I'm talking about just in the far of emotions and passionate.
Okay.
So for you to even call him like he's not, that's
he's
what I mean.
Even emotionally.
He's not even passionate. Yeah, like Michael is going to talk to you like, I don't know what you're talking about, Jasmina. Please help me. Like,
but I want to say this.
But let me just get to it before I forget my point. I think that we've seen it play out on camera when they were having a discussion. Michael was using his inside voice, and he said something. I don't remember what the discussion was about, but he said something like, I don't really understand what you mean. And she said, whoa, slow down, Michael. Watch your tone. Watch it. It was, we saw her do it. We saw this play out on camera. So we know it's bullshit. It's easy to call bullshit on bullshit that you see. And so we've seen her do it. So for her, she's tried to go in this bag of, well, y'all didn't see it. She tried to go in that bag before. It's just more crime. I'm telling y'all, she's the black Alyssa, and y'all, kudos to the ones who saw through it, because it took some of y'all. It took y'all a while.
It took the season.
Some of y'all, it took a while, because I could hit y'all screenshots on Twitter from earlier, and then y'all singing a completely different song towards the end of the season, but y'all got there, so respect to that. But I can't believe that so many of y'all didn't see this coming. This was just her trying to play this out for the entire season, and then it was by the book. It was a textbook bullshitter.
So okay, so I want to give her some. This is the grace I'm gonna give Jasmina. if I could find it. I think what I want to say is now I just watched this, y'all, and I'm gonna be honest. I really wasn't feeling the whole situation or whatever the case may be. It was very annoying to me, if I'm being 100. However, I can understand how if you don't know somebody, and I'm just giving grace. I don't know the situation. This is me giving grace. If you don't know somebody and you have an argument with them, how if you could be off put by how they respond in an argument or whatever the case may be. Now I can say that and say I don't think Jasmina uses the nicest tone. I don't think that she speaks in the nicest manner. I don't think that she uses the greatest words to explain her feelings, and I think she can come off condescending and snarky and mean. And so I think what I'm getting at is that I think he might have just had tea for her fever, and she just wasn't used to somebody keeping the energy.
Being off put is very different from basically calling somebody
I
abusive.
didn't like the use of the word. So let me say
Hold
that.
on. Let me just say this. Being off put is very different from basically calling somebody abusive.
Well, she said, okay.
You understand
And
what I'm
she doubled
saying?
down on aggressive. I try
Right.
not to use
Well, do
aggressive
you
too.
understand? You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I don't. It's again.
But I
I don't.
don't, I mean,
Again, I don't want to similar to Alyssa. I don't want to legitimize her bullshit because having a difference of a communication styles is very different. Having growing pains in a relationship is very different from labeling somebody this aggressor, this emotional aggressor or
yeah.
physical aggressor or whatever. It's very different, and it is dangerous to throw these things around, especially when you're dealing with people of color.
And that's the biggest issue I take with this. I think that I'm so personally conscientious of how um even when we argue and how, even if we're loud, I'm so conscientious of all those things because you can't control other people's perception of your
A thousand
situation,
percent.
right? So um I'm constantly thinking about that. And even I took a little bit, being I this it bothered me. Being in a space with a black man, having a relationship with a black man, sharing a life with a black man, and even me as a black woman, I don't like that term used for black people. Period. It is historically negative. It does have terrible connotations, and I think that it was, as educated as I think this young woman is, I think that it was irresponsible of her to use that language, and for her to double down on it just says that she really has no respect for him,
At
because
all, because
even if you
it was an opportunity for her because this was
it was an
intentional.
opera, because
This was
even if
intentional.
he came, even if y'all had that argument, right, and then a month go by, some time go by, y'all vibing, whatever the case may be, you could run back in your mind and say, you know what, I might have used the word aggressive, but that's not what he was giving me in the time.
It was an easy crutch for her, especially in the event that the cameras weren't rolling. Like whenever she felt like it's saying, whenever she needed an excuse for her actions, she just said, "Well, y'all wasn't there, and we had an argument where he was
Mm-hmm.
aggressive."
Yeah,
So
gaslighting us.
I'm
She's
over the bullshit.
gaslighting
Yeah,
us.
I'm over the bullshit with
But
her.
I do feel like, I was proud of Michael for being like, no, I'm getting right back in the dating pool. I ain't gotta take no pauses. Damn right, baby. You get yourself right back the fuck out there, because and I wouldn't even call her my ex-wife.
No,
Fuck her.
don't call her anything.
I have never I'm so annoyed by this because, and it's weird, y'all, because I really don't like men. But I something about Michael I really like. He has a really nice demeanor. He's a man who comes from women, so he treats women well, or at least wants to uphold some standard of respect with them. And to see how everything is a joke, even when the boys say like, "Oh well, you was a friend." She was like, "I said he was a friend. I said he was a friend from the beginning."
Yeah,
Bitch, shut the fuck up.
it was,
Like, you
it
was a
was,
fucking
it
weirdo,
was
girl.
giving real Mirla vibes. Like, like yeah, like this is not funny.
It's not funny at all. This man
He
didn't sign up for this.
this is
And
not a
you
joke to
did.
him.
And you did. You're not
Yeah,
never once did this woman say she was coming on here to find the love of her life.
no,
Not once. You wanna know why? Because she never was.
yeah,
She never was. And the weird thing is that a lot of y'all, I don't even know that. I'm gonna be honest. I think I wanted her to be a romantic and wanted her to be somebody who wanted this, but it was very clear over time that this was not for to be in a relationship. This was a game show. Oh, let me get to the end and see what kind of bag I'm gonna get at the end of this.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, he never could. Now, let me say this. I want to speak to another thing where I kind of agree with her, because I date a Pisces, because I'm with a Pisces. But one of the issues that Joe and I dealt with early in our relationship is that Joe was not a man who said like, "Oh, you look beautiful today." He's still kind of he's much better than what he was. But I do think that
That was an excuse. She was never into him. We're not gonna sit here and legitimize anything that she say. I'm
But
sorry. I can't.
I don't even want it to be a legitimizing thing.
Because it was bullshit. She was looking for excuses.
But I'm not trying to. I don't want to. I'm not trying to talk about this from her space, but more of a general space. How
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and how those things are important to people, and people, and I'm emphasizing that because I think that whomever you're in a relationship with, we talk about love languages and everything like that. Like words of affirmation are important to people. That's how you manifest things. You know what I mean? So you should be telling the person that you look beautiful, you're so smart, you funny, whoop de boop, right? And I do think that curates a certain kind of relationship and bond. I don't know. What do you think?
I think, like Michael said, you're not going there. You can't woo somebody who doesn't want to be wooed.
But I'm speaking generally. I'm not speaking to.
Yeah, and generally, absolutely. I just think like.
But I agree with what Michael said and how he rebutted.
Because that's what they were saying to him.
Yeah.
That's why.
And I didn't like that.
That's
either.
what they were saying to him. And to
either.
me, it legitimized her excuse, y'all. We saw this from very early on. Many people said she's clearly not into him. She's just not into him. She was giving him friend vibes very early on. You're not gonna shower somebody who's giving you the Heisman with compliments. You're not gonna woo this woman who's giving you no energy.
Because that come off weird too.
That comes out very creepy like. And Michael is again for the real ones in the back, for the gentlemen. You never want to feel like a creep. Like Michael was trying to tell Pastor Kyle when they talked about it before. Like if you was raised right, you feeling like a creep is not sexy to you. Yeah. It's not hot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You want to, you absolutely want to court your woman. You absolutely want to go after your woman, but a real man never want to feel like a creep. And if he's courting a legitimate situation, the energy that she's going to get back to him, he will never feel like a creep. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So it's just like the whole Jasmina was just throwing shit on the wall to try to see what sticks. And she did it all season long. And she just ended up with, well, he didn't tell me I was beautiful. Like, what? You literally told him you kissed him out of obligation. How do we get to he didn't come on, y'all. That's why I say I don't want to legitimize it by even talking about it because it's bullshit. She was bullshitting everybody for the entire season. Jasmina is full of shit, period.
It's really sad, and it's just sad to watch because I really do root for Black and brown people to get in spaces where they can grow in love. And it's not to put everything.
Because Michael would have made a great husband,
but
or a great participant.
Let me tell y'all something.
Because he was committed.
Y'all know I'm into the signs and everything like that. And his sun sign is Pisces, and they are typically, they got a lot of shit with them. But one thing that they are good at is longevity. So it would have been nice to see him with somebody, because I think that it could have gone to the distance. I agree.
Just somebody who was just at least committed to the process.
She was never committed to the process, so she was never going to be committed to Michael
at all.
And that's really what this comes down to.
Yeah.
So last but not least, I didn't even want to end on them, but I guess it's just how the cookie crumbles. Katina and the Olajuwon. Oh, let me backpedal one bit more. No, this is what I want. They said it with Katina and Olajuwon. Mm-hmm. This is why I don't like Kevin. Kevin starts out the thing. This is why I don't like him. He starts it out saying, "Oh, I didn't even think y'all was gonna make it."
Oh, did he say that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's too much.
That was the first thing he said.
He has his mom.
But number one, he didn't fucking believe that. You didn't believe that. The first time I saw Katina and Olajuwon together, I thought, "Oh, this could work."
Oh yeah.
More than anybody, and he was getting on my goddamn nerves at the time, and I still felt like this. I could see this.
Yeah.
I could see this.
Yeah. See, what happened was, I think a lot of people felt like that in the beginning, and then they wavered from it.
You know, a lot of people didn't love Olajuwon's personality, so they assigned his personality to their ability to thrive. When the reality is that you get with people and you curtail something, and then you start winning together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the realty and the biggest difference, and this might be me jumping, but I really want to get this off my spirit. The biggest difference between Katina and Jasmina is that Katina actually wanted to be a part of this
She was
process
committed to. That's what I was
because
saying.
she had every not. I don't even want to give her every reason, but I'm saying by y'all standards, by y'all single standards,
Mm-hmm.
she had every reason to leave. If
And
y'all tell the
she
story,
admitted.
I don't think she should have
She
leave.
admitted
Left.
that.
I mean,
She admitted that. And this is, and I think every newlywed couple can attest to this. She admitted that she had to go through a transition of shedding her single stomach for her married stomach,
right,
because she said I would have. She said if we was just dating, I would have just left.
right.
Right, which is a lot of us can attest to having moments like that, but that's our single stomach. Like, oh, I don't like the way so and so da 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 da, I'm out. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And then you hop from person to person because you don't like this da 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 da, right? And so, to your point, that's the difference. She was committed to the process, because you can't even really ask them to be committed to the person because they don't even know this person.
Exact. Come on, baby.
So she was committed to at the very
Come
least,
on.
when you pair these people, they just have to at least be committed to the process, going through the steps, having the stomach, listening to the experts
And
when they
by
say,
committed,
how do you, this is how you navigate this and stick to it and da 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 da, doing the exercises, all of that stuff, just being committed to the
I agree.
process.
And I think committing to the process is committing to the decisions that you make. So
Right.
this all comes back to you and your autonomy. You made a decision to commit to something. So
Mm-hmm.
now you should see it through. And it was beautiful to see that they worked through some things that, guess what, is really fucking normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's
Everybody
normal to
working
y'all.
through
But now
stuff.
it's normal to y'all, which is weird to me, right? See, when we was saying it was normal, we was out here defending
How
abusers and
about
all that
that?
stuff
Just
like that. I'm
yeah.
not
No,
lying.
you're not. It's funny because it's true. But
You
like,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, but the
we was
reality is that,
co-signing domestic violence.
which is what? Like, are you kidding me? This don't do that. This
That's
young.
just, yes. Like,
Did
this
somebody
is
say that to you?
no. Literally, somebody was in, not to me, but somebody was in the comments. I started to read this was a YouTube comment on our video, one of our videos. Somebody was in the comment. They was going off on a domestic violence train. I didn't read it. I didn't continue to read it because I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm not going to read it. So I just let it just go off. But that's the energy that people was coming. Like, I can't believe he's an abuser. You should champion women running away from abusers and blah blah blah, blah. Like,
No, we champion here. We champion marriage, and in championing marriage, we champion the highs and the lows. You know what I mean?
period.
And my thing is because we believe in longevity, and I might be, I know I'm speaking for both of us. I feel confident in that. I think that you need people around you who understand that one, everybody, we're all onions, right? We have so many dynamic layers. So one day I'm mad and I sound like this, and other days I'm mad and I can flip a table over. You understand what I'm saying?
Period.
Still the same emotion. You know what I mean? And I think that one thing, and this is really, I want to bring this back to black men and how we see black men, and not to be caping too much, but to say one of the things over time that I really loved about Olajuwon that I don't think he got enough credit for was him just showing up as Olajuwon, good, bad, or indifferent. Did I say some things that I probably could have said better? Yes, as you all do. It ain't a
A
mother
thousand
jumper
percent.
alive who done say hasn't said anything that they could have said better, that maybe somebody received wrong,
A
maybe they
thousand
said it with
percent.
the wrong tone, whatever the case may be, right?
Well, some of y'all never said or did anything
And
wrong in a
and y'all
relationship,
saying it from your
and that's
highest
yeah,
selves. We
the
get it.
bullshit stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, we were talking about Katina and Olajuwon pushing through them having low moments.
Yeah.
Even Katina having low moments with the whole thing. Whatever y'all believe, her, you know what I'm saying, with the phone and all of that. Like, we were talking about pushing through them having low moments. You don't do life with somebody and they don't have a low moment. You don't do life with somebody and they don't say something that they shouldn't have said,
You
or they
just
don't.
don't.
It's just like,
Because we
that's,
all have
you'll be
moments
single
where
forever.
how about, I love it, and I really, and I want to be clear. I do think we are ushering in a new way that marriage looks like, right? So marriage history used to look like the man used to be the provider, bring home everything, but then didn't have any responsibility to show up emotionally or anything else. You know what I
Or
mean?
physically.
Or whatever,
Motherfuckers
right?
had an apartment in another city.
Oh God, stop saying that! Stop saying that! But in
Bro,
real
for real,
life,
some of
right?
y'all granddaddies just wasn't like, they
Some of
brought home
y'all
the bacon.
daddies.
They
It
brought
don't
home
even.
the
It be some of y'all
they brought home the
daddies.
bacon, and that's all they brought home. It was
and guess
nothing
what?
else. Not a body, not a support, not love.
And that may have worked in that generation, right? So now we're ushering in this new generation. Women can do all things by themselves, men can do all things by themselves. So now we're looking at what true partnerships and building conglomerates look like, right? And a lot of y'all, and I don't even want to, I hate to say it like we blaming y'all, whatever the case may be, but the reality is like there are some things that you work through to get to a space where you can be a part of a merger of that magnitude. There's, my company just went through a merger, WBD. So now we're Warner Brothers Discovery. And we had to do so many consolidation of so many things, so many applications, so many, you know what I mean, systems, so many people and positions, and that's primarily because when you're doing a merger of that magnitude, it has to work for both people. So you shed so many different parts of yourself to be this one living, breathing entity, right? That's marriage. And now that's the fullest extent of what marriage looks like in this century, where people are bringing in, both have something to provide to this, both have something that they can bring to this that will help it flourish. And we got to figure out how we're going to take the good things and make them great, and how we're going to start pruning what doesn't all the way work for us. That don't mean a weed ain't gonna pop the fuck up. It just means that you got to go back and prune again. And I think that that's what Katina and Olajuwon is showing us. And it's really beautiful to watch. And it was beautiful even when he was talking about his parents and how, because I didn't even realize, didn't pay full attention to the fact that his mother and father weren't there for his wedding day, and how that could affect him, and he's going through this process, and not to give him space to act a fool, but I do think that for so long men, specifically black men and black women also, have had to show up in spaces where we really could not be our full selves emotionally. And I think that it's nice to see all facets of a man and what he's going through when he's upset, he happy, he angry or whatever the case may be. And you work through that with the person that you with. And I'm gonna just say that. So I'm proud of them. I'm proud.
But my question is for y'all in the back, some of y'all that had so much to say when
Oh
Katina
God, don't
Lodge
do
on.
that.
No, I got a question, and maybe some people could hit the comments with some answers. I would ask, what is your example representation of a loving, lasting marriage? Like
I
what
agree.
what does that entail? Because I would tell y'all with 1,000% conviction that you don't know the couple if you think that they never been through anything and they've been married for doing life forever, and
What?
they your goals couple, but they never been through anything. I mean, we could even talk about celebrity goals couples. Y'all was goals, 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 and then Jay-Z got hit up in his head in an elevator, and everybody was wondering what happened. And then some of y'all was in the comments, she need to leave, da 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 da, and she's still happily married, pumping out kids.
Because it
Like,
really ain't none of your
because it's not.
business.
But the reality is, you thought they were just gonna go through life and never go through anything because they was rich and famous.
I don't. It really is fascinating because I really do think people think that.
I
If you put a
it's
camera
mind
in
blowing to
anybody
me.
home who is married or not married, in a domestic partnership, anything, even got kids, it's them and their kids. They're fighting and arguing.
I mean, what do y'all that's my
They're
question would be,
arguing.
what is your idea of loving, long lasting relationships?
Right.
It's just you just do
Yeah.
life with somebody and nothing ever happens. Like, it's just
It's
asinine to me. It's so
fascinating.
silly to me. You know what I'm saying? I think some of y'all put these celebrity couples that y'all think y'all know on a pedestal, and just because they haven't had a video leak of somebody getting hit in an elevator, y'all think, well, that's goes right. That's how it should be. And if it's not like that, you should leave. Little do you know, you have no idea what he or she is going through, went through 2 years ago, or 10 years ago, or just yesterday, or what. Y'all have no idea what people go through to continue on their relationship, what people have to work through to continue a successful long lasting relationship. So just the way that y'all snubbing y'all noses, and people have gone through much worse. And y'all
Much
was the way
worse.
y'all was flabbergasted at this at Katina and Lajuan situation was just fascinating to me. And it just really tells me that if you got somebody out there, hold on to them, because the streets is not for you. It's nothing out there in these streets.
Let me tell you
These
something. It's
motherfuckers is
nothing.
crazy.
There's
They
nothing in
not
these
making no
streets.
sense at all. They leaving motherfuckers for liking Instagram posts. So just stick with yours.
Just stick. Listen, if you can, it's something in the devil you do now.
How about that?
It's something in there. But I did like that he, got her a brand new ring, and I thought it was beautiful that he got on one knee for her, and really just expressed how this process has kind of brought him to a new space. And even I like that she expressed how patience was something that she's glad she had with her husband.
And can I tell y'all also? So remember, I said I knew right from the jump from Lindsay's like body language that they wasn't together. Remember when I was saying it?
Yeah,
I knew very from the
because
front.
they was touching each other the
Oh,
whole
I mean,
time.
she couldn't have been in his chest anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is that's how you know it's real. Which is a sign that you know what I'm saying. Because what did we notice when Jasmine and Michael walked out of Decision Day after saying yes?
They ain't even kiss each other.
They
in
ain't
the mouth.
even
They ain't even shake hands.
they didn't even shake hands on that, right? But the whole time
Team.
before they even asked Katina Olajuwon anything, she was like all in his arm, all in this shit. They hold hand. They couldn't stop touching each other. Which is, I mean, this is not to say that like all great couples are super affectionate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it was just very evident that like
I'm
they
saying
like
that
each other